It's the day for ultimate ice sledge hockey glory. Sochi's 2014 Paralympic experience has included this raucous venue, Sheba Arena, certainly the place to be and the ice to be playing on. Before the USA and host country Russia battle for gold, it's the latest renewal of the Canada-Norway ice sledge hockey rivalry, a rematch of the 2010 Vancouver Paralympic bronze medal game won in the last seconds by the Norwegians. Today they hope to extend their amazing record streak of medaling in every ice sledge Paralympic tournament since its debut 1994 in Lillehammer. But Canada dominated the Norge here 4-0 in last week's preliminary round meeting. The challenge facing this talented top-seeded Canadian team echoed in words by Captain Greg Westlake, who admitted, quote, "It's not the game we want to be in, but we owe it to our fans here and the people back home to bring home a bronze." Tom Kirkland calling the action, joined by former Team GB team captain Brent Pope. And Brent, I got to ask you, does Norway start off with a bit of an edge? They want to be in this game.
It makes a difference, doesn't it, to any game? You've got to go into it taking it on. And with the remark there from Greg Westlake, the captain for Canada, it gives me a little bit of concern about the Canadians, because you can't back into a medal game and expect just to sort of claim it because you were first ranked in this tournament and you were doing so well during the group stages. The Canadians were soundly beat in the semifinals by the Americans. And the Norwegians, well, obviously against the Russians playing better, but the Norwegians know how to play in big games like this. Equally do the Canadians. But the interesting thing for Canada is they're a boom or bust nation. They win the gold, or maybe they don't qualify or get a medal at all. Whereas the Norwegians are always in and amongst it. As Corbin Watson will get the start today, Westlake in his line of Bridges and Bowden, and Dixon and Arsenault have been outstanding. But that is the question, isn't it? Is whether or not the appetite for the Canadians is strong enough to go and compete against this Norwegian side who knows how to win medals at the Paralympic Games.
Yeah, and the man in goal there, Christian Bune, has been very difficult to solve, and hence the reason that the Norwegians are once again back where they were in 2010 with the Canadians, not on Canada's home ice now, but still a game for the bronze. And that is the man, Greg Westlake, who made those remarks. Remarkable candor, but that was right after the loss to the U.S. He's had a day to now maybe get ready for this moment. Coach Mike Mondin certainly hoping he gets his best from his Canadians. And there is the head coach for Norway, Morten Haglund, and he's done a remarkable job continuing to get the steady play from all of his lines, and particularly his goalkeeper.
Well, Haglund's like Mr. Hockey in Norway, isn't he? He's an official at the first level of men's ice hockey. He's coached the women's national program. He's now coaches obviously he's been coaching all along this entire time, the ice sledge hockey program in Norway. And since '94, when they first, the sport of ice sledge hockey was born at the Paralympic Games, he was the coach then, and now possibly the coach to lead this side to a 6th Paralympic medal. It's an incredible achievement, and I'm not sure whether or not it's ever going to be replicated again.
It really is. It's a tremendous consistency, and you see with the rise of the Czech Republic and now the Russians in their Paralympic debut making the gold medal game, there is much more competition from the 17 nations playing ice sledge hockey and more, maybe as teams begin to prepare and put together teams for future Paralympics. The one that has been a thorn in the side of the Norwegians, Adam Dixon, had 2 goals against them in the preliminary and scored Canada's only goal in the 2010 bronze medal game. Norway's Eskil Hagen, fitting that his first name has kill in it because he has been a Canada killer. He scored both goals in Norway's 2-0 win over Canada in the Nagano gold medal game in 1998, and Eskil Hagen also scored that incredible, improbable bronze medal winning goal with just 4 seconds left in Vancouver 4 years ago. A shot he lifted toward the Canadian net, and it bounced off Billy Bridges, who is the Canadian all-time leading scorer, and it's ironic that he would figure in a score against, and that extended the Norwegian streak of medaling in all Paralympic ice hockey tournaments. So that's what they're playing for. It remains to be seen what the Canadians are playing for, other than to come away from Sochi with a bronze medal, and certainly they have played well enough to be among the top 3 teams in this tournament.
Well, you're right, and they're deep enough, they're talented enough. It's just as we look and see this play now opening up, just how focused and intense they'll be and how much they work at both ends of the ring.
There's Westlake. And it was interesting, Watson was so good early in the tournament, but the U.S. solved him with goals on very few shots. And he seemed to be perplexed there. So you could imagine the Norwegians will test Watson with a lot of shots early, as the Canadians controlling. Westlake, what a playmaker he is. That's not Westlake, that was actually number 11, Adam Dixon, who is actually the man to be reckoned with, a big goal scorer. 2 goals in the preliminary win earlier this week. And he's right at the top of the points list in this tournament. And that one, it just got by Bune, and fortunately for him, just wide, as was the first.
A couple shots early from the Canadians, isn't it? And you see the frustration coming in from Morten Hagelin, just sort of barking his instructions at the referee. But yes, the Canadians starting quickly in this one.
Check hard, taking the body. The Canadians appear in this first minute to be well into this match. Derek Whitson sends it down into the corner, and now back to Whitson, and they are well set up. And he'll just throw it on goal, and Bune has to be right on early, and so far so good.
Good pressure by the Canadians as Rempel is right in front of goal, and Rempel's had 6 assists in this tournament. He hasn't yet scored. Going to net is the best place to go to if you want to score. And the opening goal in this one, as we watch a shot from Whitson in, Rempel is right there. Bune is strong, though, early doors in this one.
Interesting that 16 of these 17 players who came to Sochi with the Canadians were part of the World Championship gold medal winning team. So it's a team that's been together a long time, and lots of training, lots of preparation, veterans and youth, and they have the entire blend, and hence they're playing for an important medal. Right out in front, again, you see so much white, but it's the red who is in front of Bune. And there behind again is Rempel, and a chance. They are surprising the Norwegians with the early forecheck.
And getting the possession, isn't it? A couple times, one way and one the other, is Rempel, who just can't quite handle it as cleanly as he might like to have, and Bune anticipates it, gets the blocker out. But the Canadians doing well to have that sustained pressure, and they need that. They didn't have that against the Americans. Let's be honest. And Westlake was suggesting that the only difference in the game was the scoreline, and then actually that the Canadians were winning a number of the other battle areas. That's not true. The Americans were outstanding on the day. The Canadians have to respond.
Yes, and they are. They're responding here. They've owned the first 2.5 minutes here, and it's interesting that we had discussed the Americans' motivation versus the Canadians' motivation coming into that game, and Westlake himself admitted that they were not tested in the preliminary round. They ran their way through it. Maybe the final game against the Czech Republic, but still a 1-0 win. There were not a lot of questions that they had to answer, and when they had to answer them, they faced a U.S. team that was already well tested and had lost a heartbreaker to the Russians. So maybe the U.S. was a little bit more prepared for a medal round type of intensity. And the Norwegians getting it out, and it's bang back in. Steve Arsenault knocked it in, and let's see what we have here early. The coaches, Curtis Hunt, boy, he's done a lot. He's played, he's coached in the minor leagues in the United States, and the players respect him. And Hagelin has a lot of help on his side as well.
Well, it's important to have the right staff, isn't it? Have the relationship with your players, because the head coach often is sometimes the bad cop. You need the good cops that are also the teachers as well, and making sure they're always providing that correction during the game.
Tyler McGregor sends it in. Now Delaney in front, trying to find a teammate to get a shot off, and the rink is tilted down in the Norwegian zone. There is McGregor again. What a story he is, working his way around. And the pressure, they'd love nothing better than to get an early goal, establish their dominance over the Norwegians as they did in the preliminary round. There's Dixon with some trouble in the deep forecheck from the Norwegians, who will be happy to hold off this early push from the Canadians and settle down and then make it more of a Norway type of game.
Exactly. Dixon, you just see there, just again being tested to move that puck, and he really only made the first mistake of this tournament in that semifinal game. Other than that, he's been faultless. He's been so offensively gifted and has been totally calm and cool as a cucumber for the Canadians on their blue line.
Bogle wrapped up, and an opportunity right in front. Great back-checking there by number 20 in white. And that is Martin Hammer, who did his job as he saw the Canadian coming off the puck.
And those plays will be the measure of what's going to happen today. It's just how much the players actually want to win battles away from the puck.
Now the Norwegians coming in, skating through it. Oh, that's 22, Auden Bakke. Bakke with the steal. It's a 1-on-2, and he's winning that battle. And he puts a shot close to goal. Now all of a sudden, well, the Canadians have it now, but the Norwegians appear to have tilted it back a bit. And there goes Bridges, and look at Westlake with the shot. Oh, that was wide, but look at the battles. And Westlake showing the class that he has, the speed and the ability to use both hands, and just missed on that one.
And that's a chance that Westlake really needs to convert on for Canada.
Whitson again, oh, knocked down by Bune, had a little bit more trouble than it looked. 27 in hot pursuit. Brad Bowden. Sorheim can't get rid of it, can't get it under control. Whitson tying him up. And both teams, I would say, are engaged.
They certainly are, and it's a great competitive game. It's what you want to see. We go back that chance though for Westlake. He's got a couple of goals in this tournament, and that's fine. But we're in game 5 now, and that's one there as the leader of Canada. That's the difference, and maybe why they're not in the gold medal game.
Well, we saw in the game against the U.S. how he had opportunities throughout that game, and immediately trying to be too clean to beat the USA's fabled keeper Steve Cash, trying to find ways to maybe pick a corner when he couldn't even get the shot on goal early in the first period when he had wide open chances.
And that's the pressure, and even Mike Mondin was saying about the game is that the players obviously are trying really hard, aren't they? And every player is, and sometimes when it's not falling to your favor, then you have to make sure that you're doing other things, because you can't necessarily in a game like that. And you saw it actually with Sidney Crosby for the Canadian men in the Olympic tournament. He wasn't scoring. He didn't score a goal until the gold medal game, but he was doing other things at both ends of the rink to make sure that he was helping his team. As you look at the Canadian record, they went through the group stages, and the test against the Czech Republic was maybe a little bit of a precursor as to what was to come, because the Czechs are great, but for them to keep it as tight as they did, and at that time the Canadians were already qualified to the semifinals, so maybe taking the foot off the gas and just sort of decelerating into the most important game of the tournament in the semifinal.
Yeah, that's how it looked anyway. Czech Republic was the early victim of Norway in a game that probably sent the Norwegians into the medal round, as it turned out. Czech Republic unable to come back from that, and they had a team with their keeper being as good as he is that could have been in the Final Four as well. Westlake said on this game, we just have to calm down and we have to have fun.
Yeah, it's important. If you are having fun, you're going to be playing well. But it's just about being focused, and equally, it's much more fun when you're executing your plays.
Yes, Norwegians with low numbers in front, but they come away with the puck. And again, 17 is Solberg, and he's digging there. Now they'll work to try to pinch in. Nordstoga all the way back into the other corner. Arsenault giving chase in a one-on-one battle. He takes a big hit. Now it's sent down, but the Norwegians are well represented there. Bogle has it, sent it in, and now not much to tell between the two. Arsenault circling and sends it in and just barely missed his man. That was Tyler McGregor.
This was a play. Arsenault was at a solid tournament. Good body contact, though, from Solberg to come in. And Solberg, with 3 assists in this tournament, has been an important part of linking together this Norwegian attack as well, as they don't have a lot of scoring, but every single player has a dedicated role on this team.
You see the face-offs, the advantage of the Norwegians, and as the game goes on, in a tight game, that can make a huge difference if you're gaining control every time you're into a face-off situation. Now we're 6 minutes in. The early chances for Canada now has dissipated, and it's Norway in control, but not right now. Westlake tried to go through 2, couldn't do it. And the Norwegians send it back down. Icing.
That's a steady play there from Eskil Hagen as he makes the play on Westlake. Westlake turns it over in the transition, and Hagen the longtime Paralympian, the veteran, and he now in his 6th Paralympic Games with this Norwegian side. And he has been a rock back there for a generation of Paralympic play for Norway.
Oh, he has. And again, the Canada killer with both golds in the Nagano gold medal game, and then that flip in at the end of regulation that went in. And there's a flip in and redirected away from Bune, as you saw Whitson just trying it, looking for a rebound there. There's Bridges trying to make something happen. He's Canada's all-time leading point scorer with over 300. He knows how to get it done. Whoa, that was a rocket that caught Bune a little bit.
Bridges just really in an off-balance position, unloading from a high area in the offensive zone. And yes, it's wide and high, but how hard was that?
Yeah. Bowden locking up there. Eventually, the Norwegians come out, but they cannot clear. Westlake sends it all the way across. Now the Norwegians are better set up, and they will get out, and maybe with an opportunity. Oh, that was a chance there that went awry. Sorheim lost control in his sledge. Westlake takes a body, and it'll come down. And Peterson, oh boy, what a story he is. And here he comes again, walking in and looking for help. Look at all the red jerseys, the commitment, 5 men back. And there's a penalty, well earned, very smart play there by number 11, Adam Dixon. He saw the check coming. He dumped the puck, took the body, and I guess they're going to call holding or interference on Nordstoga.
Yeah, Nordstoga just comes up there and takes it away from Dixon, and he commits to taking away Dixon's speed because it was one-on-one at that point. I think he's going to get called here for teeing, probably, coming in the side, because by the end, as Dixon releases the puck to just try to side on, try to slide past Nordstoga, he wouldn't allow it, and he made sure to get in the way. And it is a good play because what it does is it prevents a goal-scoring opportunity.
Right. Well, we'll see Canada at maybe their best, number 2 in this 8-team Paralympic competition on the power play. As for the penalty kill, Norway is 5th in front of goalie Bune, so we'll see what happens here. But an early break and a chance for the Canadians. Westlake controlling, and boy, what a playmaker he is. Back and forth up front with Dixon. And he'll put it on, and it's right there, but you see well positioned and cleared. There is number 17, Solberg.
It's an intention of the Canadian offensive attack today, whether at 5-on-5 or on the power play, to get a man to the net and to try to put immediate pressure just to distract Bune or to get in the way for a rebound or a deflection.
Rempel leaves it in. Now Bridges, and he's in fine shape but has lost the stick. And that is a tremendous disadvantage as you see 23 Klockhig battling, and now he's lying. There's sticks all over the ice. And now 11 is there. Dixon, look out for him. A chance for Westlake as he circles now and regroups. A shot opportunity right there for Bridges, goes wide, and that's enough, says Bune.
And the thing about losing a stick is that not only does it take away your opportunity to actually make a play, it's like losing your skate, because you can't propel yourself. You can't get yourself towards the puck and to be even involved usefully, just to be a distraction, or in fact to be a part of competing for the puck and helping maybe a teammate to win possession. This is the play by Westlake, the shot in, but again, a couple of good shots so far from Bridges, but he's trying to be inch perfect, and he's gone over the net again, and it sounds great, but it needs to be effective. It needs to hit goal, and you need to force Bune to make a save.
4 shots on goal for the Canadians, 2 for Norway. And again, the Canadian power play has been good. They're halfway through this one, and they've had chances. Dorian has it in the corner as he's challenged over there by Bake, and now it's back up front. What a setup, and look out. Oh, and you saw the work of Bune controlling the corner, taking away the chance, and it's out of their zone. Good checking by the penalty killers. And now it's back for Hagen, and trying to get rid of it, and it's problems there for number 3, and that was Peterson, and finally he manages to gain control, and but a scary moment there.
Which shows you just all of his experience, doesn't it, Peterson, to be in that position on the penalty kill and to have 3 Canadians swarming around him and still find a way to get himself out of that tricky situation.
Norway appears to have solved the first power play opportunity, and yes, it's sent back into the Canadian zone, so we're 2/3 of the way through the first period. Canada's had the better of the play so far, but you can't tell on the scoreboard.
Norwegians are very disciplined as they play their positions.
Westlake with a chance and lets it go. Bune on top of that, and look at Norway, 4 players right there to clean up.
And that's the type of thing that becomes intimidating, because you know that if you're just 1 and out every single time, a shot and then you're gone again, it becomes difficult to really start to sustain some offensive momentum.
Yeah. Oh, and the big hit on Bridges. And there goes Westlake to the goal. Brad Bowden in front, walking in with a chance, and where is it? Bune, he has been alert, and he knew that after Bowden got rid of it, that Westlake was buzzing.
Incredible play by Bowden as he just on a tightrope ends up just avoiding or evading the Norwegian defender, and it's incredible how elusive he was. But actually, as he's carving his way towards the goal, he was accelerating right up in front of the net. He ends up putting the backhand in on Bune. And the line here of Bridges, Bowden, and Westlake, so much of it comes from number 27, Bowden, who has the speed to be able to create the openings.
And you see Westlake with the shot that we've been talking about. He appears a bit snake bit, as they say in the sport. Has had chances, but really not as dominant as they thought coming into the tournament. The best forward in the world is the label with him, and you can see how he controls play. Maybe a bit unlucky, maybe trying to be a bit too fine against these top-level keepers.
And the thing is you almost put a little bit of bounty on your head, don't you? When the marketing program for the Paralympics and Olympics, you saw it with Ovechkin, with Russia, where everybody's tagging you to be the difference maker in the games, and you're dealing with the top players in the world. Well, everybody just tries a little harder, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Peterson loses the face-off. It's whipped out there. Oh, my goodness. That was a rocket from Dixon. I'm not sure that hit the post. And another chance. Where is it? It's in there, jammed in there. The referee will not blow the whistle. Where is it? He's looking for it. Now he will. Oh, boy.
And he's right down in there.
He is.
The American official, Jonathan Morrison. And he was wanting to make certain. The only thing he was short of was a magnifying glass just to make sure he could find that puck. But the reason why he's allowing it to be playing is it's still eligible. The puck is still alive. And whilst it looks like it's smothered, it's still eligible for a player, the Canadian offensive player, to reach in and to pull it out. And that does
indeed
hit
hit
the post.
Wow. That first one hit the post, and then they had the follow-up where the puck was loose, and great support for Bune from his team as they all gathered in there. There was a little bit of a hand pass, and they tucked it in, and they kept it away from the Canadians, and eventually got the whistle. Bogle wrapped up over there with Varnes. First time we've called his name. He's a player. He's one to be reckoned with. Set up in front, and Westlake just missed it. What a pass that was.
And this veteran line for Canada getting their lion's share of the ice time so far, as Mondin is going with his strongest unit.
Yes, he is. Here comes Bridges. And Westlake on the far side, and Bowden behind him. Bridges wins that individual battle, and here comes Westlake now, and he's being jousted about by Varnes, who wins that battle. But it's battle continuing here. Nordstuga, and look at Bowden come out of there with it. Oh, this is hand-to-hand combat here as the Canadians are pressing, and they are here. There's no doubt about their involvement.
And they know, though, the Norwegians, the longer that they can just mute that down and take that away from them, it gets more frustrating, and then there's more pressure for the Canadians to have to make a perfect play, and that's when Norway can maybe counter and go in the attack.
Yes. And finally, the puck goes behind Watson, and Whitson has it. We're under 3 minutes left in period number 1. Well contested, and an early chance. It was Bakke who stole it, and There's Peterson in the right place with his stick. He's chasing Whitson. Peterson rubs Whitson into the wall, and number 4 still has it though. Again a chance. Bakke over the goal. Now Peterson. Suddenly the Norwegians with some pressure, and it's sent out in front, and that'll go all the way back down.
And that's Peterson, the defenseman, who was really leading the forecheck for Norway. He ended up creating a couple opportunities. They broke the play up. It deflected to another player. He's the one that just makes this play that leads all the way down the ice. But here they come again.
Yes, and that's Auden Bakke behind Watson, and there's Peterson yet again. And then Lundgren has it, and looking around, he gets knocked over. Who has it? It's Peterson will come away, and he'll send it out front to Bakke, and he lets it go to Nordstoga. Doesn't get the shot off. But there's Klakig now, and the Norwegians are buzzing. Bakke with another chance, and it goes right into the glove of Watson.
It's a great save for Watson because he hasn't been tested much yet, has he? And so you've got to be ready to make that save when it comes, particularly when you're not seeing much action. And the play just coming in from Bakke, who has scored in this tournament. It's not as though you had a player shooting against you who is unlikely to be able to contest. And that is a shot there, really out of just constant pressure from the Norwegians. And Bakke there right again with 2 goals in this tournament, almost a third.
And Watson, you mentioned it's tricky because he did not look good against the U.S. So in the back of his mind, there is some questions. It's good for him to make early saves in this game.
Confidence is key for any position, particularly the goaltender.
And a little dangerous flick. I believe Peterson put that on goal. And the collision, Arsenault coming into it there with Solberg. And now Hamre has it, but then Westlake takes it away, up and down. The Norwegians have balanced it out a little bit. They are back in this game, and now coming in. Bogle lets it go from a long way and steered aside.
Canada will know they are in a game, that this is going to be no foregone conclusion. It's not their right to win bronze just because they were higher seed coming in.
And because they took the Norwegians down 4-0 in the preliminary rounds, they don't care. This one is for bronze, and the Norwegians know how to play for medals. They've never not won one. And the shot's up to 5 now for the Norwegians. They've closed the gap that way. But again, end of the period, we've seen teams score, and there's a chance. Oh, and Bridges tests Bune's concentration.
Bune looks comfortable, and this line, they're getting double the ice time of anybody else, the Canadians right now, as we watch this, as they've generally been well balanced, the use of the players. This is Bridges' shot in, and Mondin has utilized a real balance across his lines, but not so far today. These guys are getting the lion's share of ice time, and he's really going to his top unit to try and get that first goal.
Yep. Again, it's amazing how we've seen late period goals scored throughout this tournament, and they've changed momentum. So the goal for Bune right there is to make sure he's on his line, make no mistakes here in the last 20 or 30 seconds. Whitson digs it into the corner where the Canadians have a chance. They have numbers. Oh, but the giveaway from their man, and a chance. Bune was equal to that as it goes all the way down, and that was just strictly McGregor's shot and Bune with the quickness. It was a major league save right there, and a big hit at center ice. I didn't see an arm go up. The period is over. Wow, what action right to the end.
Norway have been outstanding at playing the body. They've been better at it than the Canadians, and they have been deliberate. They've been purposeful with every one of their contacts. When there's been an opportunity for Canada to start to make some skating room or to create some speed and some momentum in their attack, boom, they've come straight up and tried to hit them right at the point of attack, and to try to slow down any chance for them to really get that offensive machine for Canada going. And as I look at this first period and reflect back to, I'm reminded of a situation at the end or at one of the scrimmages in and around the Norwegian goal. And at that time, it was number 8, Tyler McGregor, reminding Peterson just how old he was. And it's not something you do.
He told him that, right?
He did. He said that to him, just how old he was. And you can't do that because you never know if that's going to come back to haunt you.
Oh, yes.
And you watch the way Peterson's playing in this game right now. That's a man possessed on pursuit of trying to win a medal.
44-year-old Rolf Einar Peterson chasing that incredible streak, looking for another medal. Tyler McGregor, right at the end of the period, tested Bune. Bune was quick enough to stop it. We are scoreless after one furious period. 9 shots for the Canadians, 5 shots for the Norwegians, and whoa, we'll take a little bit of a breather and be ready for period number 2 soon. That's some of the best from period number one in a well-contested game. Canada had the early dominance. Norway came back. Canada with 9 shots. You saw McGregor with a chance near the end. You saw Dixon, who already has 4 goals and 6 points, hit the post. Had actually gotten it past the goalie Bjorn, but hit the post. And for the Norwegians, chances as well, maybe not quite as many. But right now, this bronze medal is very much up for grabs, Brent Pope.
The Norwegians have 4 players who have points in this tournament, so if they're going to get any offense, it's going to come from Peterson, Bogle, Solberg, or Bakke. And that's not to say that there's not going to be another Norwegian scorer today, but they've been the one that have been able to provide the offense for Norway. Canada have had every single one of their players active in the game, who've recorded a point and been involved in contributing to the offense. But here they are, after 15 minutes, scoreless against Norway. And the longer this goes like this, the more it will go in the favor of the Norwegians, because what it's doing is testing the appetite for the Canadians for a meal they didn't necessarily want to eat.
Yep.
And that's the challenge that the Canadians will face. And so smiles for Mondin. He's got to keep it light and heartbeat and upbeat, because if he tries to put too much pressure on the importance of this, of course it's important, but you're going to play well if you're having fun, and then hopefully the talent of the Canadians will come to the top.
The Norwegians only 6 shots on goal in the medal round loss to the Russians in the last game. So, again, a team, as you mentioned, just 4 players with points in this tournament. So they're used to this. They're used to these tight games. And the longer it goes, as you said, then they're looking for 1 goal, one way to beat the goalie Watson for Canada. Meantime, the Canadians have been this juggernaut with 15 goals coming into this one. And, wow, they're a little bit bottled up right now.
And they've been shut out for 4 periods, haven't they?
Yes.
And that's difficult for a team that's been highly charged offensively.
Right. And just 1 goal against the Czech Republic before that. So really 1 goal in 3, 6, 7 periods. That's quite a drought for a team as potent as the men in red. Clocking, team captain, behind his own goal, wrapped around. Sometimes it's who comes out of the locker room with more energy, and there's Bowden right off the bat, circling, looking for an opportunity, and he'll take a shot, and it's in! Oh my goodness, Brad Bowden walked in, was checked, but not really hard, and he came all the way around with the right hand, and the backhand didn't look like much, but it beat Bjorn.
Well, this is taking the bull by the horns, isn't it, for the Canadians as they come right out of the gates in the second period. And Bowden, who's having a direct conversation with Mondin before this shift, and these two understand each other. Bowden came right out individually on his own, took command, an unassisted goal, and has led this situation for the Canadians.
Yeah, he had 5 goals and 3 assists at World Championships. He's been a guy they've counted on. Game-winning goal. The gold-winning goal in Torino. So he has been in the middle of many, many big goals. His 6th Paralympics, and no surprise that if they were going to get one, it would be him.
He was one of the players that stood out for me watching in that semifinal game as we looked on, as one that was really still trying to make things happen. And there's a difference between players playing to their ability level, but also playing with that extra want and that desire and real heart and rising to the occasion. And Bowden shows that right there.
Norwegians off the face-off win. It's ticked right in front of Corbin Watson and harmlessly goes off to the side. That goal was interesting because he was checked. It was 1-on-3 essentially, and he managed to lift it in an awkward angle, and Bjorn saw it right in front of him but couldn't stop it. A well-placed shot. And now the Norwegians looking to get the equalizer, pouring it on, but the Canadians break out. That was Rempel had it caught in his sledge. There's Solberg getting into Whitson a little bit, and Hamre has it. It's a 2-on-1, but Whitson holding his own well.
The interesting thing about that goal is that, again,
oh,
Canada.
Look at the chance there as Anthony Gale came in and forced the action. Canadians now buzzing with a chance to get 2 here early in the second period.
And we were saying that if they were able to score one, they're likely to go on and score a few. Whereas, obviously the game is staying scoreless, how difficult it might become for them to get a goal. And right now, the Canadians benefiting from the momentum they created for themselves.
Yep, Delaney now had it, and Solberg wrestles it away. And that just missed his teammate there, Eskil Hagen, who was cruising alone in center ice, but the pass just a little too long, and it will create the icing and the face-off deep in Norwegian territory. And Eskil Hagen, again, the guy who's really been a thorn in the side of the Canadians, we haven't heard much from.
No, he's a guy that really, probably in the latter stages, obviously, of his career, is less offensive now, and he just holds that back line, and it allows Peterson to go forward, and Varnes, who's back there as well. Hagen is a cornerstone of just good defensive defense.
Bowden is flying the center pass, and Westlake again with a chance, and now Bridges in front. This line, Bridges, Bowden, and Westlake buzzing all game. And there's a chance, but Westlake, God, there it is, it's in! Bridges cleans it up.
And Bridges has connected the Canadians with where they can be. They're starting to play to their potential. And this is a huge goal for Canada because it means they've got their offensive mojo back. And Westlake, who gets the service from Bowden, really could have taken it there. He actually loses control of it, and Bridges just comes bombing in. And he just tidies up, and he gets a hand on it there. And this might be reviewed, and we'll see. But the official makes the call and indication. But Bridges gets his hand on it, and whether or not he gets contact with his stick. But at the moment, it's being awarded, and we're having a discussion about it.
And they will go look at it. So, nice observation, Brent. We'll see if, in fact, it was a problem. But he came flying in, and I would just mention Eskil Hagen, and he was caught just sitting in his sledge as he watched Westlake miss, and then off to his other side. You saw Bridges come in and clean it up, and Bune just caught with really guys on both sides.
The best opportunity was really to Westlake, and he had one there down the slot before, and he misses the net. And again, I'm just wondering, you don't. It's the bottom line is any goal scorers, you watch Bridges sweep that in. Any goal scorers about putting the puck in the net. It's not a better goal or more of a valuable goal by putting it upstairs or off the post and in. Just get the net, and there was enough net to be shot at for Westlake, and you can see he just got a little anxious ahead and took his chance, or wasn't calm in collecting that puck.
My question is whether Bridges had his stick in his hand, because if so, it's a goal. But as you can see, the assistant coach there for Norway thinks it was a hand goal. My eye would be on Bridges' left hand, and if he had the stick in his hand, because I didn't see it.
I think at the moment, the way that first replay is the only one that we've seen, I think this might get waved off. And the reason being is I think it hits the glove. The glove sweeping across the ice, it does have the stick in the hand, but it's the glove that makes contact with the puck, and from what the angle we saw. Obviously, they're reviewing it from a number of different angles right now, and the American official, Jonathan Morrison, is just getting feedback. Bridges looking on, and if there's a way you can tell when you're looking in the eyes of the player, I don't think he believes it's a goal either.
They know if it's good or not. That's a hand. There is no piece of the stick, if I can say it from sitting here at our vantage point.
No, exactly, and you can see it in Bridges' eyes. You know a guy. You know it when you score, and you know in the way you celebrate. Even when the guy gets a tip, and only the slightest tip in front of the net, you know when it's your goal.
The first time I saw Bridges' face afterward, he was looking. His eyes were darting around, waiting to see. So we'll see if the official comes in points. I believe he's going to wave this off.
Oh, wow. And that's a huge moment for the Canadians. And obviously they saw it from a number of different ways. And we were thinking maybe it was being played with the hand there. But there you see it, and it's a good goal. And I think he's breathing a sigh of relief equally as well.
Well, that's why we're here in the booth watching, and they have other angles and people more qualified to make that call. I wouldn't want to take a goal away. That's a good goal, and certainly Bridges earning it. And 2-0. What a difference. There was hope there for the Norwegians, but not now. It's 2-0, and the Canadians are indeed buzzing. And really, it's the work of Bowden, Brad Bowden got it going with the goal, and he was the one who came flying behind the net and started that play.
And he made the service across the Westlake, and then it was Bridges who tidied up. And so good for all three of them to play off each other. And maybe when they didn't quite get the play they were expecting to make it on the first attempt, at least they stayed with it and found a way to get it in the back of the goal.
Now Rempel who is one of the 3 Canadians with 6 points. He's operating in control, and it's sent in behind Bune. Now you have to wonder about the motivation of the Norwegians, who appeared to be, they already know they were beaten 4-0 in preliminary round just last week by this Canadian team, and they know how difficult it is for them to score. Still see Bridges smiling.
Well, yeah, and you just see him. I'm fascinated to watch it because, you know, obviously what it looked like to us is that was made contact with the hand, as you see Bune with another great save, but just the way Bridges is almost suggesting such a relief, I think he knows that maybe that was on the borderline.
Yes, maybe he stole one, but again, the majority of the motion was toward the net, and if he gets any piece of that stick, and maybe there was an angle that showed that.
And I think in the rules, you know, obviously in ice hockey, if it's a skate coming in and you're directing it by following through on the play, as long as it's not an inadvertent kicking motion, and I think the hand almost serves like a skate in that situation.
And you see again the chance in front as the men in red are completely dominating. Arsenault, the best plus-minus guy on the Canadian team, a bit of a surprise since he doesn't have a ton of points, but the best plus-minus coming into this game, and that's sent down. The question is, can Hamre catch up to it? And no, it'll be icing, as some good digging by Arsenault. But again, interesting bit of controversy at the start of the second period. I think that Coach Morten Hagland of the Norwegian side might feel a little bit unlucky now.
Well, yes, and you even see his assistant there, obviously, as well, suggesting that maybe, you know, there was no way that could be called a goal, and that was Frank Dahlstrom, and was looking on, and he was suggesting there's no way, and you know, obviously, that's the power, isn't it, about having that technical ability to review it.
Yep. Whitson lets it go, and again back at Bune, and now it's a shooting gallery as the Canadians are very comfortable, and the Norwegians are just chasing, just trying to get it out without any sense of an offensive thrust. But now look at this. It's Solberg, and he tests Watson.
And Solberg to get in behind the Canadian defense right there is concerning, because where does he come from that he's allowed to be that free? It almost looks as though, as you see the respond in the call to arms by Murray to get back, they were unaware of Solberg in behind him. And this is the play. He doesn't quite get it on him as it's rolling off, and this is the shot. It's not the best shot he would like to have taken, but it's the one he gets in on Corbin Watson, and equally he's got to control that puck for the faceoff. Yep. But it's totally changed his game, hasn't it? And that second goal, obviously Bowden grabs it and opens things up, which is the key. The second one is really what's made things happen now as you watch the Bowden play again. And it's the elevation on the back end. It's a surprise shot, isn't it?
Yeah. And the three in front of Bune really didn't help. They acted more of a sort of a false sense of security, and there's Bridges again. You know, he's got the stick in hand, and as you said, the official believing that in that case the stick in the hand may be the same, and it was the same action moving in, and that would be unfair to take that away.
Yeah, I think because the sledge, as he came side on, it wasn't. He starts to slow up, doesn't he? And while he's addressing the puck with his hand, trying to get a stick on it, he is trying to get it with his stick. He just has run out of time because he's coming too fast, and he can't adjust himself. And that's why I don't think it's intentional. But I just was wondering whether or not, as a result of it, making contact really only with his hand, was that going to be allowed?
So 2-0. 10 minutes left in period number 2. There's plenty of time for the Norwegians to get back in it. The problem for them is they don't score goals very often, and 2 feels like 3 or 4. Bakke in on Rempel as they press the action here. A little bit more urgency, certainly for the men in white. There's Sorheim in there. And you see Peterson working hard. He's knocked down, and will that be a penalty? No. Seemed that was in the middle of the ice, and Peterson seemed to have been knocked off his line.
Well, he and Dixon collided, and both of those players, as Peterson comes in and gives a shove to the Canadian player as well.
Oh, and there's a big hit.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. That was Klakig, the captain lining up his man and absolutely crushing him, taking the puck away now. Maybe that's the kind of a hit that can get your team going. It's tipped ahead. Now Solberg is giving chase, and then it's Nordstoga. Canadians gain control, and can they push it forward? Because you had Tyler McGregor trying to take advantage, and there will be a penalty. And what happens? So the Norwegians will be now down a man.
And it's a roughing call that Morrison is calling. And the Norwegians, as you say, will be short a man now for 2 minutes or less, and it's Solberg. Solberg, who had that great chance on basically the breakaway, who got him behind the Canadian defenseman. There he is high on Gale, and it's just the hands. Gale has a swat at him too, and he's lucky not to be penalized, in fairness, the way he came down, because Solberg initiates, but Gale does respond, and generally they give it for the retaliation, sometimes even more than the initial contact.
Yep. So the Norwegians now down a man, and that Canadian attack is just really feeling their oats now. Up to and on the power play, Westlake, so much power. Dixon, and then Bridges again lets it go, and it's wide. These are all greedy goal scorers and point getters, and I mean that in the best possible sense. Once they get one or two, they want more, and they cannot clear it. There's Rempel now giving chase, and it's wrapped around, but there always seems to be a Canadian right there. And now it's Westlake calmly delivering it to Bowden, and he's gonna set up Dixon, who lets it go. He passes to Bridges, and there's another one. And the Canadians have blown this open thanks to number 18, Billy Bridges, the all-time leading point getter in Canadian ice sledge hockey. Over 300 and now 2 goals. And just no doubt about that one.
Oh, power play, feed from Dixon down to Bridges, and Bridges, well, we don't need to dispute this one, do we?
No.
As we know exactly where that is, and it is deposited high up into the Norwegian goal. And make no mistake of it, Bridges is on fire.
And you see everybody beginning to pile up the points for the Canadian side. Bridges with 2 goals, Bowden with a goal and 2 assists, Dixon with an assist, Westlake and Arsenault with assists, and this looks like the team that just waltzed their way through the preliminary round. And they did this same thing essentially to the Norwegians.
Well, they went through a spell there, as we were highlighting, where they didn't score. Well, they scored 1 goal in 7 periods,
yeah.
And that's where they lost this tournament. That's where they lost the opportunity to compete for the gold medal.
But this bronze medal that has been elusive to the Canadians appears to be closer to them, and the fan. They said, you know, what Captain Westlake said, you know, we might not. This is not maybe the game we want to be in, but we owe it to our family and friends who are here rooting us on, and to the thousands who are supporting us back in Canada to come out here and go after this, have some fun, and bring home the bronze. And particularly in light of what happened in Vancouver, maybe they found the wherewithal, they found that motivation.
And they need to, don't they? You know, they're suggesting they have short memories and not necessarily looking back. And half the team has changed since Vancouver.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But equally, the thing is that the players, a number of the veterans were there. They know that in their own progression as a consistent ice sledge hockey nation in what is a developing landscape where other nations are getting better, you got to take your chance when you get it to win a medal, and because it may not be coming back again for a while.
Good point. And now it's just trying to get shots on goal. Magnus Bogle, and there's Tomre trying to get it, but it's the Canadians who are completely in the comfort zone now, and there's no more pressure. Everybody is doing what they're supposed to do, and this is when this freewheeling group can be really dangerous.
And that is when they're at their strength, aren't they? When they've got room and they got time and space. They didn't have any time and space in their semifinal. They do more so as this game develops, and they're making their own time and space, aren't they? Because you have to respect each shooter as they're shooting so well now and starting to find their sights.
Except for Mr. Westlake, who would like to get one here. He would certainly like to have a goal that to go on.
Well, we have the scoring efficiency ratio of obviously shots taken by the team and then total goals scored, but we don't have the percentage of actually shots taken, those that actually missed the net, and those that hit the net.
Right.
You know, there must be 50% of the shots taken by the Canadians today that don't hit the net.
Yep. And great work by Peterson coming all the way in at 44 years old. Not sure if this is his last Paralympics. And you saw Dixon trying to get it ahead to his teammate. Peterson sends it back up and out. Arsenault banged into hard. And looks like there'll be penalties.
Just waiting for what Morrison has to say, but just to clarify that point, I say shots and then shots that actually hit the net. Well, it's attempts, isn't it? It's attempts, and the Canadians, ooh, there's the roughing there from Peterson, who knocks Westlake down and gets him right in the chops.
Yeah.
And it looks like both of them are going to go. We'll see whether or not there's a discussion. Coincidental penalties.
You see Westlake saying why. He got the
2 minutes for taking one.
Exactly.
But that's the point. But I said about attempts by the Canadians, and then actual shots. And shots are only registered when the goaltender has to make a save to prevent it from going in the goal. And Canada have had even double the amount of shots available to them today.
Looks like Peterson, maybe
four.
Maybe it's roughing on Westlake and teeing on Peterson, even though he appeared to get the right hand in there.
Yeah, that was a tee right there on the chin, and as he did the first with the sledge and second with the knuckles.
Yes. So 4-on-4, exciting chance, and maybe this is if Norway's going to get back in it, maybe fewer players on a bigger ice surface would be an opportunity.
And so it is 4-on-4. We're wondering whether or not Peterson might have got a double there, the teeing and the roughing, but that's the way it's leveled out. They both will just get a 2-minute minor each. And
it's stolen. Canadians doing well on the forecheck, and they're going to have numbers here. They come right in. Great work there by Klakeg, the captain, to knock it away, and he will gather and try to form some kind of an attack. As the shots 10-6, not so bad, but when 3 are in the goal, that's not so good. Hagen getting it out, and again, the big ice surface, you would expect the Norwegians to try to take some chances now, especially.
And they were in that first period, and they'll continue to. It's just been obviously a real step up from the Canadians in the second period to get these 3 goals. They've never really had a chance to get their own offensive momentum going.
Klakeg gets it down. Hagen, he gets it up slowly and bounced off the wall, and that's pursued hard by Hamre. But really, neither team doing much in this wide open situation. And another whistle.
And a little odd over there is on the boards. It was Whitson right in front of the bench, and he was locked in, couldn't quite seem to find the puck. And with all that open ice, that was where the majority of the play was. And then an icing there. But nonetheless, Canada in a much different position now than where they were after the first 15 minutes of play. And they're really starting to move through the gears now.
Yeah, very comfortable, and this is really back to the way they play, freewheeling, and for the keeper there, Watson. Big margins now for error, and not that he's going to make any. He's been very good throughout the tournament, but really no pressure now to make a huge save.
Yeah, it gives you all sorts of comfort, doesn't it, with a 3-0 scoreline. And it's a difficult one to really evaluate Corbin Watson up against the other tournament teams because of how little shots he's had at times.
It's a 2-on-1. It's Bridges again. Great setup. Rempel! Oh, and a brilliant save by Bune, who managed to get in there and I believe deflected that puck away.
It was a great save by Bune. They were right in on him, the Canadians.
Peterson is back and joining the fray, but the Canadians gather it up again, and here comes Westlake with a teammate, and it's a brilliant pass. Oh, and the shot, Bowden manages to get from strange angles. He manages to put pressure on the goalie.
Bowden reminds me of Martin St. Louis from the Tampa Bay Lightning, as he's just so nifty in those tight spaces and can change his body. He can go from backward kind of to forward and reach back. I mean, he has all sorts of angles in which he handles his puck. Now
Bowden wheeling again. Westlake sends it in, and it's Hamre who comes out with it to Peterson. And he comes in with a good opportunity now. A nice little leave pass for Hamre, and he gets knocked off the puck, no call.
Yeah, Morrison's right there watching that one, and he doesn't even budge to suggest that was a penalty.
And it'll get pushed all the way back. Peterson digging hard to catch up with it. 3 minutes to go in period number 2. The Canadians blowing this wide open here in period 2. 3 goals. And the Norwegians really just standing around and watching for a small period of time as Brad Bowden sort of took it over with quickness and the first goal, and then gaining control and setting up the second, and then Bridges just left alone, and after a controversial second goal, his second goal, the third of the game, is no question.
If you play this game on paper and you look at both these teams and the stats coming into this particular game, you would again favor the Canadians because they have had the overall stronger tournament, greater offensive firepower, and you would expect that they would be in this position. But the game isn't played on paper. And the Norwegians, who have won a medal in every single Paralympic Games, and right now this might be a real tall order for them to do it in a 6th. They know how to do the right things in the key situations, and it's been impressive to see the Canadians respond as Murray goes to the penalty box here now. He's going to get one for interference, but Canada have done a great job at responding to what their strengths are. Going out, taking the play offensively, and just continuing to put pressure. But pressure is one thing because they had so many shots as well against the Americans. But here, it's about conversion, and they've taken their chances. They've been clinical when it counted. And he's just screening Peterson. Peterson was looking to get to the Canadian player, and Murray just providing a little bit of a shield, and that's what the official has indicated. And the 2-minute power play for Norway, a great chance at the end of the second period here now, in which to get on the board at least and have something to build from.
Right. As you said, on paper, if you look at the way these teams play, 3-0 would be a mountain to climb. But if they manage to, you see Bridges' second goal here, if you see they get this one here at the end of the period on a power play, it would put them right back in.
And a save there from Corbin Watson, and he's got to be equal to it with this late opportunity.
Yeah, he wants to maintain his concentration too, because it's 3-0, and sometimes the goalkeeper's mind will wander just for an instant because he hasn't seen much from the Norwegians. But as we've seen throughout the tournament, you can just flip it in from anywhere, and you get a redirection, and it can be behind you.
Of course, and that is the key, as I mentioned before. Hard to measure Corbin Watson because he hasn't faced as many shots, and then at a point in the game he had 5 shots against the Americans and 3 goals. So hard to really just sort of say, well, just where is that performance at, because it was 2 extremes.
2 minutes to go in period number 2. One that has seen the Canadians beat Bune 3 times. Bridges with 2 of the goals, Bowden with the other, and now Bakke comes in on the power play, lets it go, and Watson gobbles it up on the near side. Not sure that would have found the net if it got behind him.
He was quick to snatch it and then lay it back for the official and push it into the face-off circle. Bakke, who is capable of scoring again, doesn't get all of it, does he? And there is Corbin Watson, who's in position, and the glove is quick, and he snatches it to safety and puts it down. Let's remind ourselves that Corbin Watson shut the Norwegians out, and then he shut the Czechs out as well in the preliminary round. So, I mean, he was working on a goalless streak of obviously 90 minutes coming into that semifinal.
Yeah, and that was what was so impressive about what the Americans did. They scored early and often on him, and that it was 2 different goalies. The guy who had shut out the Norwegians and the Czechs, and then the one who was against the U.S. and some of the team speed and quickness, I think, surprised Watson. Now the Norwegians looking good here, and it's deflected. Good work on the back check by Whitson. Bakke gathering it up again. Power play still with a little less than a minute, and a bad little handle there as Skillehagen let that one get away.
Hagen may have a few years ago, grabbed that one, got it to goal, much like Kavak for the Czechs, who was quick to get it, just lobbed it in. But waning seconds here, now inside of 30 seconds for the power play.
The Canadians have not given up a power play goal in this tournament. Bake, though, coming right in, looking, lets it go. Ooh, a nice left glove scoop.
It certainly is, as that was whistled going for the right-hand corner, wasn't it? On the low side, and to rely on the glove always to make that saves, and particularly Corbin Watson, obviously he has that sort of cross-leg position as he faces the goal, and he relies heavily on the glove to be his best defensive weapon, high and low, in order to deal with anything off to either side.
Bake seemed as if he had teammates well set up off to his left, and many of the defenders he had sucked in, and if he had managed to get it across a little bit to his left, it might have been a better opportunity for one of his teammates.
And this situation here where you're trying to get a goal, you're inside the last minute, you almost are resigned as sort of a bird in hand as opposed to two in the bush. You want to get a shot off rather than trying to go for something that may never in fact get the shot on goal.
Power play is over, and there's a behind the play penalty coming up, so someone will be on the power play again.
And Norway have taken this penalty, and down in the corner it's an interference call, as you see the American official come across, and it was the screen by the Norwegian player coming across as he just makes sure that they couldn't, and it's Norstoga, and Norstoga's second penalty, and cheating earlier on in the game, and it's not usual that you see a player take a couple penalties in a game, you know. We don't see that many penalties, and as we'll watch here it again, as Norstoga just takes, it looks like Bowden off the line that Bowden was pursuing Varnes, and Norstoga, who is a real formidable blue liner for the Norwegians, gets in there first.
So the Canadians have a brief power play here at the end of the second, and they will open up the third with a man advantage. So
and another penalty, it looks like, and I'm not sure whether he's going to call delay of the game here because it left directly out of the ice, and we'll just see what Morrison has in store for us. But he's suggesting, now if it goes right into the bench area, directly played out of the ice, then I don't think that's a penalty. But let's just see what he's clarifying. I think it's going to be a face-off in the defensive zone, and he thought it went out is what he was saying, and it went into the bench. Let's watch this again, as it was played by Norway, but it's played into the bench, and that's not a penalty. That's not over the glass. If it went over the high-level glass, then that would have been delay game penalty.
all right, so the Canadians on the power play. Westlake over to the middle to Dixon, and he whips it high. Now it's Bowden. We've seen him be dangerous from every position on the offensive side, and that's going to do it. But a dominant second period for Coach Mondon's team, and they have a 3-0 lead and are 15 minutes away from a bronze medal and from snapping Norway's streak of never having not come away from a Paralympics with a medal. A tall order to get back into this one. And again, the Canadians with more than a minute and a half of power play to start the third period. So work cut out for Coach Morten Haglund and his team. The Canadians feeling very good heading into the locker room. Ring that bell, sir, and we'll be back in just a little while. Well, it's a big party for the Canadians here as this explosive team, bottled up by Steve Cash and the United States in the first game of the medal round. They're exploding. They get 3 goals in what amounts to 6 minutes and 12 seconds of the second period. And interesting that Brad Bowden, who is so explosive, gets his first goal of the whole tournament. That starts it off. Billy Bridges, 2 goals, now has 3, and it's 3-0, and everyone's doing what they're supposed to do. And Corbin Watson is back putting up zeros.
You know, they had a great period, didn't they? They are doing exactly what people were expecting from them, maybe equally in that semifinal. Not necessarily to score at free will like they did over 6 minutes there against the Norwegians in that second period, but to have at least scored, you know, obviously, yeah. and that's a strength of theirs. And we look at that second goal again as we had a chance to replay it there. And, you know, it really is, as we look again and start to understand the referee's viewpoint and obviously the other off-ice officials, it was the hand coming in, but the stick was in the hand, wasn't it, with Bridges? And as he was making the attempt to try to play it with his stick, it is, you know, it is the contact of the glove against the puck and the entire body coming together, the sledge sliding all in one motion. And I think what ends up happening is the glove and the stick and the sledge all becomes part of the body, yep. Doesn't it? Yep. And with the intention to try and play it with the stick and to get it there available, but when it didn't happen, so it's inadvertent because of the arrival of speed in which he came onto the play. And just to sort of clarify, just really understanding why that was awarded as a goal, and you can understand it now as you look more and more at it.
Yep. And really, that would have had they would have had to have seen clear separation from the stick, yes. And the hand, yes. Motion pushing the puck in. And clearly, the stick was in the as one with the hand, and yeah, no problems with that one. And again, the play was made, and really the Norwegians have nothing to really be upset about there. They're being outplayed, and as they were 4-0 when they met in the preliminary round, this is going according to form. The stunning result was that the Norwegians were able to steal the bronze in Vancouver, and here we go again. Bridges tests Bune, and oh boy, right away on the power play, and bidding to make it 4, and a hat trick for Bridges.
Possibly, and maybe a second hat trick of these Paralympic Games, not for him, but for any player, isn't it? And this is Bridges, who's right there, opening the third period, and again, shooting.
Yeah, the Russians, Smirnov had the three after not playing the game before. We'll be talking about him later on in this day against the United States. But Dixon now in control, sends it over to Westlake as he surveys and has opportunities. And where's the puck? Oh, a scary time for Bune. Bridges back to Bowden. Bowden has just really been exciting and on his game all the way around. Look at him just weave in, and and there's Hagen helping the keeper out with the redirect to the corner. Bowden just amazing.
Oh, he's just so quick at the moment, isn't he? And he, reminds me a lot of just how the Americans were moving in that game.
There's a chance, and what a save as Rempel let it go, and Bune was every bit the master on that one.
You got Bowden with a goal and 2 assists. I mean, he's just been involved in everything, and he really did. As he's got a puck again, he's just having one of those games right now.
Yep, and now Rempel with help. He has Bridges coming in, and good work by Peterson and his teammate, and they'll clear it to avoid a power play goal against. And now 20 seconds left, so the Norwegians look like they might have weathered the first bit of the storm, but 3-0 down is a long way to go. Peterson will have to get some help, and they'll have to just start sending people in. And Nordstoga joins the play. Bogle now chasing, but there's just been too many Canadians. At times it seems as if they've had men advantage the whole time, and here we go again. The shot and the rocket off of the stick of Gale. One of the 3 Canadians with 6 points in this tournament, and he let that one go, looking for his third of these Paralympics.
And Gale, as you say, having an outstanding offensive tournament. He in that line with Delaney and McGregor, they really have given depth to this Canadian attack, but a little bit quiet, but that's a great shot there. And boy, did you ever hear the power of it? It goes off the glass.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, wow, what a hit there. Graham Murray coming together, and it's dumped out. Now the Canadians, it's pretty simple. They'll just dump the puck out and chase and try to score when they can, but there's really, this is the kind of a dream situation to be in. You can play conservatively and take your chances when you have them, and you figure to have them because the Norwegians are going to have to really sell out.
Of course, and Mondin will want to see at least 3 players behind the puck, and what we mean by that is players who are obviously being able to take that initial wave of offense when the Norwegians do come and try to carry it to the neutral zone. This was Bowden, again, working in and out on the ship, and he just elects to go to the backhand. He's already scored the backhand, and almost the panic of just trying to defend it as quick as possible by Hagen could have really led to potentially an own goal there.
Bune has been really solid throughout the tournament, and some of the goals today, the 3, really are not the fault. It's just too many good plays, too many good passes, and great effort by the Canadians. And this is a talented group, especially Bridges, Bowden, and Westlake. That line has been flying.
It'd be good to see Westlake, who has, as we say, maybe just been a little snake bitten, but maybe just trying a little too hard. Just try to relax and get himself an opportunity here to be the guy that he is, regarded as arguably the best offensive player, best forward in the world.
Now a chance for the Norwegians to gather possession, and they turn back and trying to get something going. Hagen, and there's Bakke, who's been around a lot but unable to get anything in. A nice hit. Puck is right there. He couldn't find it, and it's gobbled up by Bridges, doing a fine job of back checking his teammates to the side. And there's that ever-present Mr. Bowden all the way out to Westlake, and now this 3 is cooking. Westlake trying to get it back to Bowden, and there's a bad hit there. No penalty, but it looks like that Bogle is down.
Yeah, and I think he got the helmet or the sledge in the midsection there. And Bogle, he's only an 18-year-old, so he's just a youngster. And he comes across, and I think he ends up getting the sledge in the midsection. I think he does. And that's hard work, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, because Westlake is changing angles, and it ends up tipping up on him and gets him right in the midsection. Not only does it knock the wind out of you, but that'll break your ribs.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can see not much padding, certainly not padding to blunt the blow of the sledge coming right in there. But I don't see a penalty having been called. They could have been teeing there, but no whistle.
I think it's inadvertent. I think they're both coming into a contact area, and Westlake is actually trying to contour away from the contact that's going to come in from Bogle, and in doing so, it just tips up, and he's kind of side on leaning, isn't he, Bogle? And it's one of those plays that just happens, but really I don't know if you can call a penalty on it, and hence why I think Jonathan Morris is just going to see that Bogle is safely off the ice and into the dressing room. Oh, and
On a second look,
it looks dangerous, and it is dangerous, but he's trying to play the puck. The puck is off the right-hand side of Westlake, and he's trying to play it, and he's trying to get himself turned, and as he's turning, he leans back and tips the front nose of the sledge.
yeah, it looked maybe worse than the intent. Now Bridges with a setup. He's got Westlake right in front, can't get it to him. All the way back, and Dixon, who's been involved throughout this tournament, but not so much today. And here comes Bridges. He has Westlake. It's tipped away, and the Norwegians are chasing and really not having much luck. And Westlake, oh, he shoots it right into the middle of Christian Bune.
And Bune again just laying down, and he is strong. And strong being low, and you're right, you see Westlake doesn't quite get what he wants on it, and it just kind of comes off the end of his stick, and you see him frustrated as the guys respond quickly to him, and they do give him a little extra attention, don't they, the defenseman?
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it, and at some points, you're trying too hard, clearly. He knows he's had many chances, and other tournaments, so he would just lift that and bury it, and this time just doesn't happen that way. But it's a difficult sport, and that's why people go through periods where they don't score all the time, and or else it would be easy.
Well, the interesting thing is they have the two blades in the bottom of the sledge, but how often they're either on the right side and left-hand side. They obviously play it with their right and left hands, backhands and forehands, and they'll have a strong side and a weaker side. And they end up getting in positions, their body positions, towards goal or wherever they're trying to advance the puck to or take a shot, and they're not always in a good balanced position. Just like you are in ice hockey, you're not always in the position to shoot. You may have it in an area where you should be shooting, but you're not ready to release it yet. And equally the same for sledge hockey, and the time and the angle that you need, maybe you can't service it because you're just not able to get control and be balanced to be shooting it in the best possible position.
Nordstoga having some trouble. He had McGregor right on him, and here we go again. It's Delaney now. This line is under control, and they're flying. McGregor is working, and Delaney now right in front with a chance. Bune gobbles it up, and you see it. Everybody wants a piece of Ben Delaney for some reason, because they thought he was a little bit too close to Bune.
And that's Peterson there. He's been in that constant battle with this young line, as he gets a pretty good little whack in on Delaney, and now the extra shove too, and the grandfather of the sport, and one of the veterans, shall we say,
yes,
is possibly here for a second chance. Shell Hamar may be going to come in and have a little bit of ice time.
Well, the game is pretty much gotten away, I would say, at this point from the Norwegians. They just don't. They don't have the type of attack that's going to come back, especially as you see the Canadians continuing to dominate possession. Now is a penalty that'll go against the Canadians, actually.
And that was Murray. He realized that he'd overskated the play, and he just puts a holding in there. You call it a hooking, whatever you want to call it. He prevents the Norwegian player from getting possession of that puck and starting to speed it out of the zone. And here is Murray. He just sort of lost the handle. And as Hamra tries to come in there to get to it, he just throws a sort of a stick in his spokes and prevents any easy access to get to that puck. And again, a penalty to be served by Murray, and he's had a couple of them today for Canada. Interference is one and holding is the other.
So now a chance for the Norwegians. Up a man. If they get one here, they'd have a ray of hope. Bake wrapping it around, and Bowden again causing some trouble. Bake now will hold and give it back. And look at the work being done, but it's lost. And sent all the way down. So the Canadians, oh, and there's a little bit of a giveaway in Westlake. Thank you very much. Lets it go, and Peterson stops it. And oh, there's a penalty that's going to go on Peterson, as Westlake took the body and Peterson took the head.
Peterson has been a bull in a china shop, and when he plays for keeps. It doesn't matter who he's playing against. He wants to make sure. Remember, Peterson was, not only has he won medals for the Norwegians, he gets the elbow up there. Maybe Westlake sells it a little bit, but not only has he won medals for ice sledge hockey, but other sports as well, cross country being one of them, and also when ice sledge skating was actually a competition in 1988 in Calgary. So gets himself a bronze and a silver at that time.
Yeah, he did. And you mentioned the gold in cross country skiing in the 2002 games in Salt Lake City. So and then you add the bronze and other medals that this ice sledge hockey team has won. So he has quite a trophy case. So another chance for the Canadians. Up a man again. Well, they're 4-on-4 now, but eventually the Canadians will have a power play for what appears to be about 40 seconds. Shot there. Bune doing the best he can. He's working hard, putting in his time there to make sure this is still kind of within reach. Although I'm not sure many people here believe that the Norwegians are going to come back.
Well, Mondin might have to just put in his notes coming out of this tournament, just that shooting practice for accuracy for the Canadians. They had great chances.
Bridges for the hat trick, deflected away. And there's Arsenault involved, and Bridges secures. What a force he is behind the net with either hand, centering it, and it's sitting right there if they can get to it, and they do. Now Bake is going to try to do something with it. He's knocked off by Anthony Gale, who just went right after him, and the Canadians just appear much more crisp, and I'm sure it probably looked that way in the preliminary round game too.
Yeah, they have, and you know, they have that depth of talent, and they look more continuous and look more capable. And the Canadians, though, it was sort of suggested as they look back on maybe what was their sort of deficiency as they're breaking again against the Americans in the semifinal. They didn't look as quick, and there was a discussion as to maybe one of the reasons as to why Mondin suggesting that they haven't got as many double amputees on the Canadian team as the American does. And I don't think it was offered as an excuse. I think it's just a fact, isn't it?
Yep.
The extra body weight that the Canadian players carry, and sometimes it does affect the ability to generate speed.
Yep.
But they're a fast team, though, equally as well. It's just the Americans are just prolific.
Skilhagen around the back. Sent all the way down, and that'll be an easy icing with under 7 minutes to go. And this one is pretty much all over except for the final number. The Canadians don't appear to be anything close to relenting, and the Norwegians just don't have enough firepower up and down the lineup.
Be surprised if the Canadians don't score again, because they have been another good collision. And both teams have played a real physical brand of ice sledge hockey today, haven't they? They've been some real great hits, you know, because that's the hard part, is making direct contact as you might like. But there's been some real open ice hits today.
Sent around, and there's Westlake again, looking to set up teammates. Peterson digging, and he's chased by Delaney. They've gotten into it a little bit. And sent back around, and you see Bowden again, just controlling things so quick with both hands. And now it's sent out, and he doesn't know that it's in his sledge. That's Skilhagen. And now behind Bune. And there has to be some frustration now for the Norwegians, who just haven't been able to really put on much of anything. The occasional rush, the occasional attempt on Watson, but really not a lot of serious pressure at all.
Well, they looked great in the first period, and it looked like it was going to be right down there their alley with a game that was going to be a defensive struggle, and neither team was going to be able to score. And the longer it went, the more it fell in their favor. And they're a team that can also be so stubborn and so diligent that it would have frustrated the Canadians. But then they come out right early in the second period, and Bowden just grabs the situation and just leads it from the front. And it's been a different game entirely since then. And, you know, Bowden, it was just a singular play, wasn't it, where he releases the backhand, which you don't see very often. You see it occasionally almost just to kind of get it on net, you know, rather than just turning it over. But the way he elevated it and just put it in an awkward area, where obviously Bune couldn't control it.
There it is, yeah.
And it just goes up and over him.
That started a run of 3 goals in 6 minutes, and then the power play was cooking, and Bridges got a couple, and that was it. And the shots on goal were 17 out of 9. Norway has had just 15 in the last 5.5 periods. They were shut out by Kamensev and the Russians, so the problem persists with the production.
And that is the difference. And although they were able to win a bronze medal, the Norwegians in Vancouver, just with the 2 goals in that important key game, you really need to be able to score 2 goals, really minimum, to get a win. And that's a challenge. You know, generally in ice hockey, it's 3. 3 to try and, if we push for a win, you'd like 4. But 2 in ice sledge hockey at this level, when teams don't give up much, you're in with a good shout to try and get points.
Yep. And a big chase into the corner. Bodies will come together. Puck sits there. It's cleared by the Norwegians. But again, the Canadians right where they need to be. Rempel bumped off. And a nice setup there, definitely from Dorian, another player who has been a big scorer, who hasn't done much today, but again, their big line has done the work. And it's kept in. It's Arsenault causing Klocke, the captain of the Norwegian team, to come back and gather it, and just, again, a team that's just playing out the last few minutes of their Sochi experience, which has been a good one. I mean, the Norwegians, again, separating themselves into the top group around the world. They just won't be able to medal again.
Well, they're above the Czechs, obviously, and the Koreans, who competed in the 5th, 6th game, and who knows in 4 years' time what the Korean team would look like. The Russians have come in their first Paralympics here. They're in the gold medal match. The Americans go back to the gold medal game, and the Canadians maybe a little bit disappointed and are in this game. And gosh, they did it to the Canadians, something fearsome to do it at the Vancouver Games, and to take it when Canada was in a position to win that game, and then just the drama to turn it around late and to get the heroics to get a 5th Paralympic medal in ice sledge hockey.
Yeah. And offsides with just over 4 minutes to go. And really a chance for the Canadians to savor this. Maybe they didn't come to Sochi for the bronze, but I'm sure they'll leave all of them hugging that medal, because it's well earned, and it's, again, as you've mentioned, it's an indication of participation in all of the work and all of the belief, and overcoming so much and becoming top flight athletes in their own right in a very difficult sport that's bringing out the best around the world now. And that bronze means something.
It certainly does. And it's, as we mentioned, you had 17 nations. Here goes Bakke. 17 nations playing the sport, and to get a bronze medal, I mean, you're in the top 15% of what you do, and even more so, and we're not really even talking about the other nations that are really starting to emerge too. So it's a very elite group to be within.
And there's again Bowden coming in. He'll have to maybe go on his own, and he does. Makes Bune make a save, and he continues to give chase, and there's a little rub. Delaney takes Varnes out, and they set up again. Dixon whips it high. He's been high all day with that shot. But with 4 goals and 6 points, he's done his job earlier.
Yeah, he was outstanding, at the beginning of the tournament, and really helped the Canadians get going, particularly against the Swedes, and then they took on the Norwegians. And as the tournament kind of has gone on, it's become a little bit more of a challenge for Canada to create the offense. But today they've kind of returned to form.
And all in that burst, in that 6-minute burst when Bowden got going flying and Bridges was buzzing, and they were just better in that period, and they kept the attack on and took advantage of some chances, and boom, three goals.
And that is the difference, isn't it? It's small margins at this level, and in a one-off game, you don't get a second chance to play this game. You've got to take your chances when they come and be clinical.
Yep. Kevin Rempel dumps it back, and eventually it ends up with Whitson chasing it down and advancing it to LaRoque. Haven't said his name, another guy who's been productive, but haven't needed him today. Clocking. We get it going. 2 minutes now until the bronze belongs to Canada. And we begin to look ahead to the USA and Russia, which promises to be an absolute classic, an epic ice sledge hockey matchup with so much riding on it on Russian soil. The U.S. trying to become the first team to ever win back-to-back Paralympic ice sledge hockey gold medals.
Well, it's almost a little bit like the Miracle on Ice reverse, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where it's in Russia this time,
Yep.
and 34 years later, and the Russians who are just arriving on the scene with the ice sledge hockey, the Americans who are well established and who are gold medalists from Vancouver and have been involved in the sport since the beginning back in '94, and here Russia are on home soil looking to pull off the dream win, and not in the semifinal, but in the final against the Americans, and it'll be high drama.
Oh yeah, and two goalkeepers. Cash and Kamentsov, the actual backup for the Russians, who has taken the job and has been spectacular. But he will be tested, as will Mr. Cash, because Lisov and the Russians are very talented, and there's a chance for a redirect from Bakke. And then you have Solberg getting involved, and late in the game they're trying to get one anyway and take that shutout off the sheet. Hagen, who's been known to score heartbreaking goals on the Canadians, but looks like it won't happen today. And Bridges trying to get the hat trick, walking in, just flicking it ahead, and it's under a minute to go, and this is all over. The Canadians with that huge burst early in period number 2, 3 goals in 6 minutes and 12 seconds, 2 by Billy Bridges and 1 by Brad Bowden, who got it all started, and that's it. That's been all that they needed. Corbin Watson has been done what he's had to do. Hasn't really been tested with just the 10 shots, and the Canadians will leave Sochi with a hard-earned bronze medal, and one that they will cherish. And really, congratulations to the Norwegian program too. 5 consecutive medals in the first 5 ice sledge hockey Paralympic tournaments is amazing.
It is, and it might be a record that takes a while before it's replicated again, and it really is. That's the story. That's the sub-story of this result here, because obviously you look at the Canadians who will be awarded the bronze medal later at the end of the gold medal match between Russia and USA, but this is the impressive bit for Norway. What a generation of success they have been able to engender, develop, and maintain. And and they are still right there. They'll just probably fine-tune a little bit again, and they'll continue to develop that program at the international tournaments. And then I'm sure again in 4 years' time in Pyeongchang, Norway are going to be there or thereabouts, as Bjorn is just 30, and he has a lot left in his playing career, as you see some of the great play by a 50-year-old yesterday, Ulf Nielsen in goal.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
he was remarkable.
They've got a great future.
Yep. And congratulations to the Canadians. Again, just an effort against the U.S. It just wasn't quite up to snuff, and Americans came in at the top of their game, and as they said, that was the best that they played at the right time, eliminating the Canadians from that gold medal match. But the Canadians clearly will be remembered as one of the dominant teams here, and they leave with the bronze medal. Congratulations to them, and also to Norway for another hard-fought and great effort that will be well respected. And again, they're going to be a force throughout in the World Championships and then coming up in Pyeongchang in 2018. So for now, the Canadians will wait to get the bronze until after the next big game between the Russians and the Americans for the gold medal. So for now, we'll say goodbye from Sheba Arena in Sochi. 3-0 was the final score Canada takes care of Norway for the second time here, second time in shutout fashion.